Sono nazo, kyo tokaikitsu. Hello everyone, it's Leo. You're on Magical Cinnamon, and I could not be more excited. 2026 is bringing us our first detective season in the Precure universe. I love the logo. I love the name. Star Detective Precure, Meitante Precure, or Tampuri is coming next year. I am super hyped. And in this video, I want to share some wishes for the next season. What do I want to see? What am I expecting as well? I'm dealing with both things in this video, but mostly my wishes. Obviously, here at Magical Cinnamon, we are going to do full coverage of Star Detective Precures, following the news, following updates, and everything else you need to know about the season before it starts. And obviously, after it starts, we're going to cover it weekly as I always do with the Precure seasons. Before I go on, I just want to say that I am very thankful to all of the support the channel is getting with the Star Detective Precure news. Thank you very much to everyone who's been following, who's been liking, who's been watching the videos. If you'd like to keep up to date with everything related to Star Detective Precure, do not forget to subscribe to the channel, and comment on this video, sharing your expectations, your wishes for 2026 Precure as well. As I said, I want to go for certain things that I expect to see because I wished for different things, but some of the things I know are very unlikely after this logo. So I'm changing some of my wishes to fall more on the expectation side of things, which is my first wish. I really wanted a huge group, like a starting group of 5 cures and then 1 cure being added later. But I find it very hard, especially after the logo. I really believe we're getting a pink and purple duo, and I believe the season is starting with a duo. So my first expectation is for us to have a dual transformation. I really want to see the cures transforming together, both of them transforming at the same time. This season, you and Idol, we already had a dual transformation with Sukyun Kiss, and I'm very thankful for that, but I want it again. Why not? I would like to see both of the cures transforming at the same time. Honestly, I would love to see that, and I feel like we have lots of iconic transformations that are done in duos, and in here I just used some examples, the Sweet cures and the Maho cures. I really love both transformations. Sweet is one of my favorite seasons, so I would love to see a strong duo again at the start. And I would love to see them transforming together. Maybe they could add solo transformations too along the way. Like, for example, Heartcatch Precure did, or even You and Idol did with Sukyun Kiss as well. Why not? I would like to see both of those things. But, a dual transformation for a starting duo. Here we go. As I said, my biggest wish would be for us to have a 6-girl team. But I don't think it's happening. I think we're really getting 4 this year. So I'm changing my wish to a bigger, to an expectation that I feel like can happen. The next thing is that I really want a green cure this season. I feel like green has become a color that has been used more in Precure, especially in those last 2 years. We had a green cure, a legit green cure in Wonderful Precure with Cure Lillian, who is very beautiful. She is one of the most popular cures in Wonderful. I really loved her, visually, she was stunning. Her transformation, the attacks that she did with Nyami, everything related to the green that she had was really beautiful. I loved, and obviously Mayu's character was also really great. This year, we are having Kyurizukyun in Yuenado Precure, and even though she's not a green cure, she is a white cure, she is really green. There are so many green details on her transformation, in her solo attack, in her minor attack, Zukyun Bazooka. It's basically a green attack. So we see a lot of green on her, even though, as I said, she's a legit white cure. And I don't think that asking for a green cure this season is something out there. It's something that is very unlikely to happen. Why? So this is just a theory of mine, okay? So I was checking out the logo, and I really believed we were getting pink, purple, blue, and yellow based on the colors in the logo. But I think that the colors of the cures, this is just like me on top of my mind. The colors of the cures of this season are here. We're going to have purple, pink, blue, and green. And this color right here is more or less the same color as we see on the top of the website. And I feel like this color is a color that is used in a lot of detective costumes, this beige color. And I feel like this color might be in every cure in accents and details on their costumes. So I think we're getting a color scheme that is very similar or the same color scheme as Wonderful Precure. And I think this is a very beautiful color scheme. And I'm happy if we do have it because we're getting another green cure. So I'm wishing for another green cure. I love green as a color, and I love when there is green in a team. I think that it adds a lot of flair to the team visually speaking. So I would like to see a green cure. A yellow cure, again, love yellow cures. We have lots of yellows in the Precure franchise, but lately we haven't been having yellow cures this much. So I would love for yellow to make a comeback. Personally, if I could choose one color to be in the team, I would choose green because, as I said, I love the green color. So I would love for green to be present. And green has been present lately, and I'm happy with it. And I know that some people want different shades of green. I get it, but I think we are being fed with green in Precure, okay? I love it. And unfortunately, still talking about visuals, I don't think we are getting plot in this season because we just got a lot of plot in Human Idol. So plot is something that is heavily present in detectives as well, in media. I don't think it's happening here. I don't know. I would love to see plot because I love plot, but I think that Idol already checked that from the Precure list. And it's very recent. If it was like 3-4 years ago, 10 years ago, that could happen again. But I don't think it's happening this time. Another thing that I am curious about for this season, it's not specifically a wish of mine, but I'm very curious to see if there are going to be collectibles in this season. And I don't know, I'm trying to wonder what type of collectibles this season can have. And definitely it's going to be related to clues if there are collectibles, because in certain seasons, the collectibles are bigger items that are sold in different ways. For example, Wonderful Precure had the kid-eating animals as the collectibles, and there were only 12 of them throughout the whole season. So in Star Detective, we don't really know. In UN Idol, it's the ribbons, and they can collect tons and tons and tons of ribbons. It's very easy to collect, and it's very easy to do in an episode, like visually. But I don't know if this season is going to have any collectibles. But I was thinking, I feel like when it comes to the idea of the season of having detectives, and also talking about the name of the season, Star Detective, as we dissected in other videos, Star Detective as a name is a direct translation from Mei Tantei, which is the Japanese name of the season. And it really means Star Detective as in a famous detective. So I believe that we might have something like mysteries being solved. People, some things happening in the lives of people, and people are asking for help. And then, oh my God, who's going to help me? Star Detective Precure, please help me. And then they arrive to help them solve this mystery. And I really believe that the mysteries in this season are going to be simple mysteries and mysteries that can be contemplated by kids. For example, in one episode, we can have a girl who's usually very lively, very energetic, and she's feeling very sad. And then the cures are going to use their powers to try and discover why she's feeling like that, what made her feel sad. And this is the mystery of the episode, for example. In another episode, a dog can go missing, and they are going to try to find clues and things that can help them find the dog or something like that. I feel like this is a possibility for the detective activities for this season. Because honestly, every time we get a Precure theme, we have to remember that this is a Precure take on a theme. And Precure is always very Precure. So even though the last few seasons they have been evolving and changing lots of things about the franchise, it is still Precure. So it's definitely going to be a Precure take on the detective theme. I'm very curious on how they do that, and that is how I'm thinking that they're going to deal with the mysteries, simple mysteries that can fit in the worldview of a child, of a very young child. That is why I think the collectibles of the season are going to be clues. I just don't know how those clues are going to be placed in the show. Another thing that I really, really want for this season is an elephant mascot. This is a mascot from Ojamajo Doremi that I find super, super adorable. And I would love to see an elephant mascot in Star Detective or in Tanpuri. I love this name, Tanpuri. The shortened name for this season is everything. I love it. I would love to have an elephant mascot. Elephants are super adorable, and I feel like they are a type of animal that is very easy to do and make it look cute, adorable, make you want to protect it, make you want to hug it. I would love to have an elephant as the mascot of this season. And I want the mascot to be really adorable and cute. And I don't know. I would like for the mascot to not be a mentor. You know, I would like for the mascot to be like this cute little thing. You know, I don't know. This is one of the things that I am expecting. And now I'm getting into another area of my wishes that is a little bit more related to the narrative side. And I'm going to talk a little bit about most recent seasons or past seasons of Precure. This might have some spoilers from previous seasons. So if you haven't watched and you care about specific things, not specific spoilers, but spoilers like in general of certain things, I think you're going to understand what I mean when I get to them. But just as a little warning here, I'm going to move on to another area of my wish, which is the pacing of the story. Precure usually has a backstory of a magical land or something that has happened to another place, which is in a different dimension, and they need the Precures to do something so that this place can be saved. In here, I'm thinking of something that is, and I'm comparing this something to the last few seasons that we had, Hirogaru Wonderful and You and Idol. I feel like lately, one of the things that Precure is doing is that they are not focusing on the backstory of the season at all. They focus on them in a few episodes, and then after the mid-season starts, we forget about it, and then we come back to it right at the very end of the season. I don't think this is a problem, particularly Hirogaru Sky, for example, I think is a great season in terms of pacing. I don't care that the story of Skyland and Under Empire was left to the end of the story. I feel like everything they needed to talk about in the Hirogaru Sky world was talked about. I don't see it as a problem. I think Wonderful did a good job too, even though I would have liked to have seen a little bit more context in certain things about the backstory from Wonderful. I think it did a great job. I think it was more on the emotional side, and I think it really delivered on that. And the Kirakiland story from You and Idol hasn't really been focused. It hasn't been the focus on almost anything. I feel like You and Idol has a lot of plots, and it dealt with a lot of drama in the first half, and it left not the second half, like after episode 30, it just chilled because they had such a strong drama in the first 30 episodes that after episode 30, they were like, no, we're just going to have the girls having fun. And obviously we are going to have Dark Ine storyline. We're going to have the full plot being dissected in the last few episodes of of You and Idol Precure. But I would like for Star Detective to work on this backstory throughout the whole season, giving us a little bit every 5 episodes, every 6, 7 episodes. I don't know. I would like for the story to be spaced out a little more, which is something that the last few Precure seasons haven't really been doing. As I said, I don't think that the way the narrative is working on the last few seasons is a problem. I don't think it's a problem at all. And the next point isn't a problem either. I just want it to be a little different this time around, just for it to be different, you know? And as I said, I love the Hirogaru story. I think they did a gorgeous job when they told the story. It was amazing. Wonderful, the same thing. And You and Idol, even though we don't have the story yet, I feel like whenever they touch on important topics of the season, they deliver 100%. So I'm having high expectations, and I really believe my expectations on the Dark Ine, on the Kiraki Land story, they are going to be delivered. But I want to see it, and I wished we saw a little more on certain things throughout the season. You know, so that is one of my expectations, one of my not an expectation, my wish for Star Detective. Another thing that I want to mention about this is that this is a wish of mine, but this doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things, because when we look at Precure as a big window for merchandise, for toys, and, you know, for items that are being sold, Precure wasn't really doing well when since the pandemic started until Delicious Party. Hirogaru Sky Precure really brought the franchise up, and Wonderful Precure did super well, and You and Idol is doing even better. So what I'm trying to say here is that the narrative aspect of things, it doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of the franchise on how the franchise is perceived, especially by its target audience. But I am someone who likes to analyze the narratives of the seasons. So if we ever have a season that has a more spaced out story, I would be happy with it as well. And the last wish of mine is another thing that I feel like the last few seasons haven't been doing, or they kind of have. I don't know. I want the characters to go back to the model of certain seasons in which the characters, each of them, they had some sort of plot, and those plots, they were growing throughout the season until we got into a huge big moment at the end, which is their last episode. What Precure has been doing lately is also great. I'm not saying it's a problem. For example, I feel like this one thing that I'm saying that Precure used to do is still being done. In Hirogaru Sky, they did it with Mashiro/Cure Prism. In Wonderful, I feel like they did it with Mayu/Cure Lillian. And in You and Idol, I think the one is Kaito. The one character that is getting this treatment is going to be Kaito. But still, not really. I think that You and Idol did it with Matadon, but the Matadon's issue has already been solved in episode 30. So her grand finale kind of already happened. So very early on. But one of the things that I really like when they do is when they craft those stories, and those stories, they keep on growing. Episode by episode, every focus episode is somewhat related to that aspect of the character. And then at the end, we have a grand finale for the characters. In here, I listed 3 seasons that I felt that I feel that dealt with it very nicely. Smile Precure had, oh my god, Smile was everything in this aspect. Did it land every single character? Not really, but every single character had a storyline. But I feel like they specifically nailed Beauty and Peace in those solo storylines. They were incredible. I love March's storyline too, so, you know, for me, it was a win. But I feel like March and Sunny, they were the weakest ones. Happy was also very nice. Star Twinkle also did it, and I remember in the last Star Twinkle episode, in the last episode for each of the characters in Star Twinkle, they had this solo moment with the Twinkle style. When the group transformed with the Twinkle style, we had the character of the day with her Twinkle style form. It was so amazing. I put Cure Celine here, but I feel like they really nailed it with the Cure Soleil storyline. Soleil had 3 episodes at the end of the season to close her character arc. It was really amazing. And it did it with every character. Go Princess was incredible. And Go Princess even went to a further step, because I feel like Go Princess really had solid narratives for all of the characters. Again, sometimes they can fumble in one of or the other. In Go Princess, for example, I feel like Scarlet didn't have the same punch as the other 3, but it was like she still had it, and they all had a huge moment at the end of their character arcs. I remember Mermaid and Twinkle, they each had 2 episodes, like they were follow-up episodes. They were amazing, and they even had a special power-up solo attack at the end. It was really, really nice. What has Precure been doing lately that is different from this type of narrative? I feel like they have been getting specific traits of the characters, and they have been kind of working on those and, working on random situations in the life of that character and see how that character reacts to that. That happened a lot with Iroha, for example, in Wonderful Precure. Iroha is a great character. I'm not saying that she is not a great character, but whenever we had some sort of focus on Iroha, in each focus episode that we had in Wonderful, we did not have many solo episodes. I feel like most of the solo episodes we had in Wonderful were for Mayu, and we had like 2 for Nyami, for Yuki, and like 2 for Iroha, but they were very few because Wonderful dealt with the duo thing, the sisterhood, and the bonds more than the individuality of each of the characters. And in Iroha, for example, they had moments for her that were related to random things, like an elephant that she befriended when she was a kid. And then we had her big moment with Satoru. Satoru was a character that kept on having more or less the same narrative throughout the show. But, Satoru wasn't really one of the focuses of Wonderful. Still an amazing character, by the way. And then we culminate with her storyline in a beautiful episode of her with Komugi. And that was kind of the closure of both of their characters, and the way she was gonna stay with Komugi after knowing Komugi's previous owner, and then with Fuku's passing, the way she was dealing with everything and dealing with the fact that, someday she might lose Komugi too. But still, I think that it is a different way of dealing with a character. And as I said, I think Iroha is amazing. Another amazing example of this is Nana from UN Idol. I feel like the Nana focus episodes that we had in UN Idol, they have some sort of connection to each other, but they're not as strong as those ones because, but again, this is not a problem, okay? Please, I want to be very clear. This is not a problem. The way they're treating Iroha or Nana, they're not a problem. Nana is my favorite Blue Cure already. This is how much I love her. This is how much I love her narrative in the show. Every Nana episode, since episode 9, which was her first focus episode after she became Cure Wink, it is about Nana paying attention to other people and, in a way, bringing that to herself and helping people around her. She is the person in UN Idol who is able to notice nuances about the others, and she is able to help them. This is what she did in episode 9. She picked things that were happening around her and brought to herself. She wanted to live new experiences. That episode is everything. I love it. And even though it was a very chaotic episode, that was also an episode that, for me at least, had a lot going on for her character, for characteristics. That was not a comedy-only episode at all. That episode is so deep, in my opinion, in the way I view it. I loved it. And every time Nana gets focus on you and Idol, it is related to that. She is always paying attention to people and to things that other people are not able to notice. And, things around her are happening, and she is the only one who is constantly been paying attention to everyone. And she is the helping hand. She helped Zakuri, she helped Merodon, she helped Uta. And in the last Kokoro episode, she even gave like Kokoro a like, Kirato Hirameta in her mind, and it made her think of something, which was the fact that she was not really thinking about the her proposals for being club president at all. School council president, not club president. Club president she already is. And so the Nana's character arc culminated in an episode that she had to make a decision for herself and not for others. And that is the moment it started. Nana's character arc started in episode 3 when she had to make a decision for herself, when she had to take the first step for herself, which is courage, which is something she usually didn't have. And then throughout the whole character arc, she had to deal with other things around her, with other people around her, giving courage to other people around her. And then it culminated with her giving courage to herself. Again, beautiful character arc. I love it. But it doesn't have a steady type of narrative. The narratives are different in each and every episode that they are dealing with. Again, not a criticism, not a problem. I don't think this is a problem in the narratives at all. Again, Iroha narratives, incredible. Nana narratives, perfection. But I want Star Detective Precure to kind of go back to what we used to have in certain characters. I feel like there are some seasons that try to do it for some of the characters, and for some of them they don't. For example, Healing Good was very focused on doing something like that for Chiyu and for Nodoka. With Hinata, they tried, and with Earth, they didn't even try. With Asumi, they didn't even try. But and in some seasons, they tried to do, kind of certain storylines for each of the characters, and then they grow at the end. For example, in Tropical Rouge, the Asuka storyline was really, really good. Oh my god, that big storyline with Asuka, it was amazing. And another storyline in Tropical Rouge, for example, Sango did not have, to me, the same power. Even though Sango is a great character too, it did not have the same power as the Asuka storyline, for example. But I really wanted Star Detective to try to give each character one plot line that would grow throughout the season and have a huge character finale for each of them. Just like, as I used as an example, those 3 seasons did with their cast. Again, it might not land with every character, but they tried with every character. I feel like the way they're doing it now is also good. No issue in the way they're doing things now. But why not go back to the other way too? Just for a change. I would like to see something like that. And I feel like this would be a beautiful thing for Precure to go back to. I would like to see something like that in Star Detective. Again, as I said, not a problem with the way they've been doing things lately. I personally love it. I love the narratives in UN Idol. I loved the narratives in Wonderful. I loved the narratives in Hirogaru. Again, Hirogaru had Mashiro that kind of had this growth, this one plot line that went on growing for her. And it culminated in a very beautiful moment for Mashiro in the show, for Cure Prism in the show, with her Batamonda storyline too. It was great. And they were really able to connect everything in the Mashiro story, like with her own plot that they created. Everything, when we had a Mashiro episode, everything was related to that. And that is something that I kind of want to see. Just like Mayu in Wonderful, every Mayu episode was kind of related to the fact that she was a very shy person and she had trouble making friends or keeping the friends that she had because of the way she is. And so like every single Mayu episode was related to that. Even though in Wonderful, as I said, not all of the episodes are focused. It didn't have many character-focused episodes. So it didn't really follow through with the same path as other Precure seasons in dealing with individuals. And it landed super well. You and Idol, again, it's a season that each character episode focuses on one different aspect of the character. The Uta episodes, the Kokoro episodes, they each focus on something different related to them. And I think it's great. I really believe it's really amazing. I love Uta. I love her development. I love Kokoro's development as well. I love how she is the teacher on Idol things. But really, this video wasn't supposed to be about that. But I ended up going on a tangent here, talking about how I want the characters' storylines to be in Star Detective. But again, if we have the same story, the same type of storytelling we've been having in the last few seasons, I'm fine with that too. Because I've been loving the most recent seasons, like really, really loving them. So no issue, no problem. I am excited. Star Detective Precure, I am hyped. It is coming. I cannot wait to see what this season has in store for us. The day I'm recording this is November 28th. Usually I can already say we are in leaks era. If you are someone who wants to wait until January for the official reveal of this season, be careful on the internet around you, because you might just see a leak right in front of you. I think there are two places that you have to be very careful for the leak to not appear on your face. They are Twitter and Instagram. If we have leaks, people just post them like boom, and they're going to appear right in your face. If we ever have leaks here on YouTube, at least, you're not going to see them on thumbnails or anything like that. I am only going to reveal them on thumbnails after the official reveal, which is January 2026. Are you excited? Sono nazo, kiwato kaiketsu. Anyways, babies, this is it for now. I am sorry. I talk a lot and I go on a tangent a lot too. So thank you very much for watching, for sticking with me for so long. Oh my God. Anyways, this is it for now. I want to take this little time to thank the members of the Magical Cinnamon channel here on YouTube, on Patreon, on Throne. Thank you. I just have to say it again. I am very, very, very thankful for all of the support that Magical Cinnamon has been getting in the last few days, especially with Star Detective Precure. The amount of comments and likes and subscribes, it's really been amazing. And this era is just starting. Thank you, babies. Until next time. Bye-bye.